Hello everyone, I'm Santiago, and today I'm going to be showing you the patch 1.2 for Dishonored 2 to see if it fixed anything. I'll first do the GTX 1060 with an i7 4790. So as you can see, I'm going to show you pretty much the highest setting. I'm using ultra settings with HBAO+. And before the patch, on the day 1, I got 30 FPS standing here, exactly like here. So we got a 15 FPS boost, which is amazing actually, but in my opinion it could be improved much more. So for now I'm going to lower the FOV, as you can see, 90 degrees, so I get a small FPS boost. And then to get a better frame rate, I lowered the model details and view distance both to medium and shadows to high. And well, a couple extra things like volumetric lighting, God rays, and depth of field, so we can be as close as possible to 60 FPS. But now, as you can see, we're getting 50s, 52, 53. So for this, what I had to do is overclock the GTX 1060 to get 60-ish FPS. So here, as you can see, I'm using i7 4790 with the GTX 1060 6GB. So I'm going to add 225 megahertz, 225 megahertz to the core and 400 megahertz to the VRAM. And well, the power limit 10% more. And as you can see here, it changes. So we did a successful overclock. So let's launch the game once again here. So we're back in the exact same spot, as you can see, and we get 57, 56. But when you're looking into the distance is the issue. As you can see now, we are back, and by not looking into the distance, it's fine for the most part. So I'm going to disable HBAO+ to get a bigger boost in the frame rate. So HBAO+ turned off, and we're getting 58. So yeah, it's working now, pretty much 60 FPS. Not quite, but a little bit close to there. Then we have adaptive resolution. If you want to use it, just lowers the resolution dynamically to hit a certain frame rate target. You have quality, balance, and performance. Performance looks awful, but it's to be expected. So we keep it on quality. And as you can see now, we're over 60 FPS. So if you don't mind some less pixels, you'll be fine. I suggest using TXAA for this, since TXAA just masks that lack of pixels quite well. The game looks smoother, but I mean, in my opinion, it doesn't look bad at all with the dynamic resolution. But some people might disagree, so I'm going to use no dynamic resolution now. Just the settings I chose without that dynamic resolution. And as you can see, into these small areas, we're getting over 60 FPS. The thing is, when looking into the distance in certain areas, that you get those drops, but they are not really that much noticeable. So let's keep going. Here there is another, well, demanding area. When you get into these stairs and look into the distance, you get some drops here. As you can see, we drop into the low 50s. So yeah, now up to the, I mean, it's very variable here. As you can see now, it's back into 60. So it seems to be loading assets, or I don't know what it's doing. But the game is much better than day 1, I can assure you that. But it should be able to get more fixes down the line. There, I missed. But yeah, the 1060 now is a much more acceptable experience, which is awesome. Now at least we can get close to 60 FPS. But we have to overclock. Let's wait for more patches. So now I'm using the GTX 1050 Ti, 1080p, 90 degrees FOV, no VSync. I suggest using adaptive resolution, but for now, as you can see, I'm going to turn it off. Well, this doesn't matter now. HBAO+ turned off. And at advanced settings, I'm using everything on ultra, which is the highest setting, without HBAO+. We apply the settings and let's see the frame rate, shall we? So now we're getting 30 FPS, as you can see, on the highest setting and one of the worst performing areas that I found. If I look into another area, I'm just above 30. So let's tweak it a little bit. I'm not going to show you how to get 60 FPS. On 1080p it's impossible, for what I could see. Even at the lowest setting here, I'm going to show you what the highest frame rate possible on 1080p is. As you can see, 42 FPS. So you're not getting 60 FPS on 1080p. I'm sorry guys, but that's how it is, at least for now. So I'm going to tweak it a little bit. Again, model detail and view distance, keep them on medium. Lower the shadows a little bit. And not much else actually. Just keep it like that. Disable volumetric lighting and God rays for a couple extra frames. Depth of field, you can keep it on if you want. But we're targeting 30 FPS here. I will make a full video about the 1050 Ti on this patch later, so wait for it. But for now, that's the best settings. As you can see, we're about 30 there. So we're not dropping below 30, if I remember correctly. As you can see, when we are not looking into the distance, we're getting good frames. But again, don't expect 60 FPS constant on 1080p. Maybe on 900p or 720p is possible with dynamic resolution, but here it's not. If you want to play at 1080p on ultra settings with a more consistent frame rate without hitting below 30 FPS, just use the dynamic resolution option on 30 FPS. Enable TXAA 1x, so you can forget that you're using dynamic resolution. In my opinion, it looks quite nice with the dynamic resolution plus TXAA, and the game will be much more stable. But yeah, I hope they keep tweaking the game in order to get better performance. But so far, to be the first patch for performance, this is pretty good. Okay, so now I'm testing the GTX 950 1080p with dynamic resolution. Well, I'll turn it on later. But for now, I'm using this and this tweaked settings with model detail on medium and the draw distance on medium too, with shadows on high. And as you can see, we're below 30 FPS when looking into the distance, which is when I get the most drops, as I said at the beginning of the video. So we are going to enable dynamic resolution at 30 FPS, so we keep manual, we select 30. And on the adaptive resolution quality, we give quality, so it doesn't break the visuals. As you can see there, 30. Quality. Performance looks awful, don't even try it, please. Do yourself a favor. And as you can see, the same here, and we're using TXAA 1x with the maximum sharpness. We click yes. And as you can see, now we're getting 30s. But I'm going to unlock the frame rate, since it wouldn't make much sense to keep it locked at 30. But as you can see, it's much more consistent. If you want 30 FPS locked, it's possible. So let's unlock the frame rate, options, visuals, and we go into the FPS limiter, and we just move it over 30. And as you can see now, we're over 30 FPS, dynamic resolution, and a little tweaked settings here and there. Medium draw distance, medium shadow, high shadows, medium draw distance, medium draw model detail, and the rest on very high, with some stuff turned off. And it works fine for 30 FPS. If you want to play at 1080p 30 with dynamic resolution. If you want to use the same settings but on 900p, you'll be fine. You won't need dynamic resolution there, which is awesome. But yeah, for 1080p you will need dynamic resolution if you want to play with decent settings, or just play at lower settings 1080p with some drops below 30. It's your choice. In my opinion, this is much better. TXAA hides the lack of pixels very well, in my opinion. But yeah, now it's playable. Awesome. Now I'm testing the RX 460, the same settings as the 950. Dynamic resolution capped at 30 FPS there, so the FPS threshold is 30, quality adaptive resolution, and the same settings. Medium model detail, medium view distance, high shadow quality. So fantastic, let's apply the settings. As you can see here, we're below 30, but we're going up a little bit every now and then. Let me lower a couple settings. Oh, I'm sorry, adaptive resolution was disabled. Let's enable it. Okay, at 30, and we select quality. We apply the settings. As you can see, I applied the settings. And now we're getting 30 FPS. Fantastic. So I'll keep going with the gameplay. But as you can see, now it's much better than on release. You might say, oh, that's because of the dynamic resolution. No, not really. On the 1060, as you could see, using the highest setting, I was getting 44 FPS. Before the patch, I was getting 30, 28. It was a mess before the patch. Now it's much better. But in my opinion, there's still room for improvement if they want to do it. Hopefully they will release more patches fixing the performance. But now the game is much more playable. I wouldn't have an issue playing the game like this. It still looks great, it's fluid and responsive, except on the 750 Ti. On the 750 Ti you can still play it, but I suggest playing on 720p if you want, with a mix between medium and high, so you can get better visuals but without dynamic resolution. But yeah, the game now is much better. Okay, now on the 750 Ti I had to use 900p with dynamic resolution, with FPS threshold of 30 FPS, with everything on the lowest, with TXAA and high textures. That was the way of getting 30 FPS. As you can see, we are dropping below 30 here. But on other areas we are not really that much below 30. I mean, just when looking into the distance you get to 29, 28 FPS. But it's totally playable. I mean, without the patch, it was unplayable. I had to lower everything, which was kind of annoying. But I'm going to keep some of the gameplay here, so you can keep watching if you want. But anyway guys, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.
Hello? Somebody's down.
Anybody?
One of us is down.
Don't make me search the whole place.
This one,
Revenge.
Mom.
You are brothers. Let's end her. Outbeat.
More Grand Guard soldiers. Lapdogs for the Duke.
Hey! What happened here?
Adamire Station. This should take me out to the Institute.
If you're looking for action, Sergeant Quinn.
No thanks, ma'am. That's not what I'm saying. Why do we even need Grand Guard personnel here?
The Adamire Institute has strategic value to the Duke's inner circle. That's all I was told. You know how it works.
Right. You just carry out your
There are a few people I'd like to push into this.
So let's see.
I saw someone.
What was it?
No use running.
She's out of range!